Hello, Strauss Legletter, Extension Weed Scientist at the University of Kentucky, and today we're going to be looking at Trial 20-9 at the UK Rec in Princeton, Kentucky. This trial is looking at or evaluating Acuron GT, which will be the replacement for Helix JT, which many of you have used and had a lot of success with. So it's going to be the replacement for that. It's going to have the same active ingredients, just some adjustments to the rates of those active ingredients. So as we move in here to our untreated check, we'll talk about the trial itself. It was planted on May 4th. Then the post-application with pre's applied at the same time. Post-application occurred to V5 corn on June 1st, and today is July 1st. So we're about a month out from that post-application, 2 months out from the initial planting date. So here is your untreated check. You can see we have quite a bit of rhizome established Johnson grass, which is typical of our corn blocks or of all of our blocks here at the UK Rec. We also see the giant ragweed back in there. You're also going to find redroot and smooth pigweed. You're going to find large crabgrass, and you're going to find broadleaf signal grass and some late emerging morning glories, as well as a little bit of hop beam copperleaf throughout here as well. That emerges pretty late in the season. But you can see on these blocks, like all of our other blocks here at the UK Rec for weed science, we have some really heavy pressure, especially from that giant ragweed into Johnson grass. So probably atypical of what a typical farmer will deal with. We really put these products through their paces. But here's the untreated check. So let's start looking at some of the different combinations we're looking at here. So you have Bicep 2 Magnum, that's S-metolachlor and atrazine up front, and then came back with that Acuron GT. Again, will be a replacement for Helix GT. Take an overall look at that plot. 2-pass program that's going to work very well for you. Gets a lot of sites of action moved in there. There's a few grass escapes, not a lot as compared to the untreated check. It's really quite clean. And a few morning glories. Again, most of these products, we're going to expect those late emerging morning glories to break through for us. So keeping on moving down, you have Lexar EZ, one of the older products from Syngenta that was used quite a bit, has been replaced or is going to be replaced with Acuron and Acuron XR, and then following that with Acuron GT. So this is a pretty complete program from Syngenta. Again, you have a few escapes in there. Primarily morning glories. There's a few Johnson grass plants that escaped here at the front. A little bit of a border effect here at the front where we're not getting the shade in there or getting the crop canopy in there. So if you look back in there, a really quite clean plot there with Lexar EZ followed with Acuron GT. Moving on, we have Sure Start 2 up front. That's going to give you your acetochlor. It's going to give you flumetsalam and clopyralid, so giving you group 4 in that pre, and then coming back again with Acuron GT. Again, an overall very clean plot. As we look at that, there's a little bit of Johnson grass at the front, but again, that is going to be due to really more of a border effect here on the edge where we don't get the crop canopy. You can see some of those morning glories that have broken through, late emerging morning glories that have broken through back in there as well. Moving on, you have Harness Extra. It's going to give you the acetochlor with atrazine. So getting an atrazine base back in here on this one and coming back with the Acuron GT on this one. So Harness Extra with Acuron GT following. Again, a lot of actives getting put down here. There's a couple of Johnson grass escapes, but not a lot. And again, morning glory escaping throughout. Not a lot of morning glory, but what we would expect for that late emerging weed that's out there in these corn plots. Okay, Verdict followed by Acuron GT. So Verdict is going to give you saflufenicil and it's going to give you dimethylamide P. And again, coming back with that Acuron GT, should mention that the Acuron GT does have glyphosate in it, just like your Helix does. All right. So that glyphosate really helps us out on that post application. But as we look in here, this is a really quite good looking treatment here, getting a pre down up front, as well as coming back with some post residual, as well as some actives that are going to give you some good post emergence control, a few morning glories, but that's about all we're going to find in that plot. Moving on, Here, looking at the competitor program, Sure Start 2 up front and coming back with Resicor. So we're getting acetochlor in there on both treatments. You're getting some mesotrione in there as well, some flumetzolam and some clopyralid. So quite a few actives in there, and then also still having the glyphosate in there with around the PowerMax. And overall, very clean plot here. There's a few morning glories that have escaped, just like all the other treatments, and that's really the only escapes we have in here. An overall very clean plot there. Another competitive treatment is Harness Extra up front. That's going to give you the acetochlor. It's going to give you atrazine as well, and coming back with Laudis, giving you some HPPD inhibitor in there in your post, along with around the PowerMax as well, some ALS inhibitors. And again, an overall very clean plot. A few grass escapes in here, a few summer annual grass escapes, and again, you can see the morning glories in there, but overall a very clean plot. Very good control as compared to our untreated checks on that one. Then looking at a program that would be from BASF, you have Verdict up front. Again, that's that saflufenicil and dimethylamide P, and coming back with Armazon Pro. So the Armazon Pro is going to give you the topramazone. It's also going to give you the dimethylamide P, another residual out there. Also have around the PowerMax in that. So there's a few more giant ragweed escapes in here, but overall good control. Mostly what we have is those morning glories popping through, and with that post application of Armazon Pro, we don't expect it to really have a lot of residual activity against those giant ragweeds or even the morning glories. So just a few more escapes in there, but still an overall very good 2-pass program that's going to suffice for most of our Kentucky cornfields. We have Harness Max. Harness Max is going to have mesotrione and acetochlor, and coming back with Caprino post on that one. This would be more of a Bayer-based program here. And again, you do have a few more escapes in this one, mostly morning glories in here. You can see a few summer annual grasses that are starting to escape in there, as well as Johnson grass. But as with all these treatments, we don't expect them to control Johnson grass. Overall, very good control, and a treatment we would expect to hold up against most of our weeds in our Kentucky cornfields. Here we have Bicep 2 Magnum, followed by Impact Z, and that's going to be your topramazone plus atrazine in the Impact Z. So getting several actives in there, both pre and post, with some atrazine on both ends there, around a PowerMax in your post application. Again, a fairly clean plot. Mostly what we see in there are the morning glory species that are escaping all of these treatments. And then finally, Anthem ATZ, you're getting that pyroxasulfone residual in there. You're getting the atrazine up there pre as well. And then coming back post with the Acuron GT, which is what's highlighted in this trial. Again, going to be replacing that Halex product that's out there that many people really enjoy using. Again, overall, very good control here. The only escapes we're really finding are some morning glories. So that is a highlight of trial 20-9, highlighting Acuron GT, which will be coming to us in the near future.